100 years ago to provide finance to farmers. And since then it's grown to become the Netherlands' largest financial services provider. It was voted third safest bank in the world by Global Finance magazine, and just yesterday reported a profit in 2005 of €2.1 billion, which is not bad going for a cooperative bank. We operate in 35 countries around the world. We have a staff of 46,000 people, and in Ireland we've been operating here since 1994. We launched RABO-DIRECT.ie in Ireland on May 3rd last year, so we are starting to grow our internet banks in the family. So although we're part of a very, very large banking organisation, we're very entrepreneurial in our spirit and how we're set up in the internet banking part. And that's kind of crucial to our success, that we're just able to make decisions very quickly and then go after them and go full on for them. Our model on the face of it is quite simple, really, when you think about it. We take products that we believe have been made unnecessarily complex by banks, and we strip out the complexity, and we obliterate the restrictive terms and conditions that we're all so fed up with in banking. And then we deliver them online at a lower cost and at higher value. And this is the sort of stuff that other banks just don't do. We try to give customers the information and the tools that they need to make their own decisions, and that's crucial. We're putting people in control of their finances again because we feel they've lost control to a certain extent. They've given it back to their banks. So we have very much a self-service model. We don't do transactions for you unless it's a dire emergency. So you do all your transactions yourself. But we obviously have a contact centre open 6 days a week till 8 o'clock at night, which then sorts you out if you've got any problems. So although it's a self-service model, it doesn't mean you give poor service. It just means that we actually have to work that bit harder at giving much better service. And often the people that I hire in our contact centre have no banking experience whatsoever, but I hire them on the basis of their people skills and their ability to empathise with customers. And that's the most important thing, because you can teach banking to people. I mean, if I can learn something, well, then so can other people. It's not that complex. Bankers try and make it complex to confuse us all. RABO-DIRECT really is a marketing-led company. And I'm quite cynical sometimes, and I think marketing half the time is bullshit. But really, we are a marketing-led company, driven by core consumer insights, and that's really important to us. I remember when we were doing focus groups, building the business case for RABO-DIRECT. It was the September previous to the launch, and the absolute transparency and the relentlessness of banks as they forced unreasonable targets on their frontline staff, and that's resulted in sharp practice and given the whole banking industry a really bad name. And as an online provider, we obviously restrict our target market, okay? So it's people who are comfortable online. And obviously the ABC1 segment, if you look at the research, would suggest that this group use the internet more. They're more represented in using online. 67% of ABC1s use the internet. And online users, critically, are very self-directed and very savvy. And they want to take control back of their own affairs, and are more willing to shop around. And maybe they're a bit less loyal because of that. But they're also likely to tell their friends about the deal they got somewhere else because they feel they're quite savvy. So the combination of the environment that we actually operate in and this target market that we're going for creates an area where there's a space for someone like RABO-DIRECT to operate. And this broadband availability is an absolute factor, regardless of the propaganda of some of the telecom companies who tell you that it isn't. The availability of broadband in Ireland is an ongoing national disgrace, and it impacts upon Ireland Inc. as a whole, as a country. We're supposed to be a tiger economy and a new economy. And study after study highlights the low rates of availability and take-up compared to other European countries. So that's very important, and has major implications for online advertising, the growth of the industry, and the development of online marketing in Ireland. So as a cooperative bank with very strong values and deeply held values, we had to think very carefully about, well, actually, how could you, if at all, could you transpose the values of Rabobank into a faceless internet bank, and could it be done? And Rabobank's values are all about being nearby, involved, and leading. Nearby, much greater depth of online functionality than the other banks in Ireland. And we also offer the most advanced levels of online security of any bank in Ireland, and that's without question. We try not to act like competitors in our category. In fact, we don't even see ourselves as a bank. We see ourselves as an online retailer that actually sells products that happen to be banking products. And that's very important in our philosophy and how we approach things. We are very vocal about our brand. We are absolutely passionate about our brand. We live and dream it every day in RABO-DIRECT, in effect, because no one had heard of us. So we obviously launched with TV, and TV played a very important role for us last year, and it will continue to play a big role for us this year as well. So But the one thing that we did have, we want the big idea, and we want you to incorporate our DNA and our strongly held values. And one agency did that for us, and it worked very well for us. So we try so hard not to behave like our competitors in our category, because it would be horrible going to work if we did. So we use a different language and a distinctly different tone of voice, which is consistent across all of our communications, whether it's on the website, whether it's a TV or radio ad, or whether it's in a letter you get or an email you get from us. It's consistent down to the on-hold phone messages. And when creating our ads, we always ask ourselves these questions. We say to ourselves, would AIB, Bank of Ireland or Ulster Bank, would they make this kind of ad? If you saw their logo on one of our ads, would you look at it and go, nah, they never do that. They just wouldn't do it. And if they did do it, they'd look like a bank who was trying to be funny. So that's what we always keep in mind when we're creating our ads. Particularly the TV ad, and an example I can show you, was that it would depict everyday interaction of a conversation where people looked like they were being really nice to each other. If you turn the sound down, you think having a really pleasant conversation. You turn the sound up on your telly, they're actually having a very, very direct conversation. And probably the conversation you wished you'd had yourself with somebody. When you meet someone, you think, I wish I really said what I really meant to that person, but I didn't, I was feeling nice. So this is what the ad tries to show. And then we obviously introduce the product and the deposit account, the bit that the creators always hate to do. They want to make the beautiful ad, they don't want to have the product. Isn't that right, Stuart? Yeah. And then in the end, we came back to the punchline at the end, and then we tie it back in with RABO-DIRECT, the straight talking online bank.
Hiya, I'm Lucy. I'm incredibly dull, and I'm going to talk about my children all evening.
I'm Dave, Mary's husband, the one that everyone thinks is gay.
Oh yeah, I know.
Actually, I swing both ways.
Lovely.
Interested in 3% interest on savings? That could be up to 10 times what you get from your savings account.
So this is Rory.
And this is Torture.
RABO-DIRECT, the straight talking online bank.
Anyway, so we did 3 TV commercials, 30 seconds with 20-second cut downs, and this one here, the street meat, was hugely popular because it was just so innately bitchy. And women could recognise it, and they were going, oh yeah, I know. And I remember going, Jesus, I know, because my girlfriend's like that. And so people really responded to that, and it was targeted at a certain demographic. And then this one, the proposal one, which was done at Portmarnock Strand on a freezing cold day in April, was also very good at a different demographic, where it was a marriage proposal, but they were kind of both desperate for each other kind of thing. And people really responded to the ads, and we had a 29% spontaneous recall to the ads. And so people were really connecting RABO-DIRECT to the ads and to the product. And we're going. So obviously online, the great thing about online advertising is the measurability of it. It's also the thing that probably almost kills it sometimes, because you can see how well things are working and not working. So, as I said, we spent more money on online than we did on press this year. And testing and retesting is really, really important when it comes to online. I feel that you need to adopt like a forensic approach nearly to your online media, because it allows you, like no other medium can do, to track and trace the effectiveness of when you've launched a banner to the landing page, to the website, to the application form, and all the way through. And no other advertising medium can do that. So I'm very positive about that. So you can identify the areas where maybe on your website, for example, people are coming on and then dropping off and all that kind of stuff, because you tag everything so you know what people are doing. We did struggle with inconsistent online creative throughout the year, and we tried to address that. And it was difficult because TV is such a visual medium that you can understand what's going on and see things, where online you're restricted with the messages that you can actually do. I would say though, it's definitely my contention that Irish ad agencies and media agencies haven't grasped or truly understand online marketing, the opportunities in it for the client's business, the pitfalls. And so just some of the cross-selling stuff that we've done in kind of our attempts at eCRM. Email marketing obviously plays a pivotal role for us, because we try and capture people's email addresses and then send them messages that they actually want to receive. And if they don't want to receive them, they don't get them, obviously. Flashes, where every month we have a fund that we launch or discount the entry fee on an investment fund, and we would e-flash that out to our customers. And every time we do that kind of stuff, we just watch the weblogs, and then you might do something on a Wednesday, and then bang, Wednesday and Thursday, weblogs go well up, and you can see the pages that the people are trying to push people to surf, and they do it. Great. We had a target of 100 million euros on deposits, and I think we underestimated how stinking rich people are in the country, and how ultimately depressing it is to see how much money people have when they send in huge lodgements. We finished the year with 450 million euros, and already we're at 600 million euros, and it's only March, and either playing shortly afterwards. So you are seeing the commercial application now of podcasting, of video casting, of blogging, the opportunities that rich media gives you. I know that Simon from Delta 9 was only showing me earlier on some of the really nice stuff that Nokia is doing, and how rich media really gives you a much better opportunity to engage with your customers. And you're also, but this is a really nice example from Audi when they were launching their A3 premium compact car. They staged the theft of the new car, and then they said to customers, come and help us find it. And they used a mix of traditional and new media to promote this. And within one day, 200,000 people had become involved in some form or other. The 7 websites were created in the first week, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. And you know, it's just an example of how you're using traditional and new media to generate word of mouth and a buzz about your brand. And that's, I guess, really, really important. The concepts, and each one is as good as the other almost. It's really hard to choose them. But we'll be doing stuff a bit different than last year, because you know, everybody wants something new. And we're going to develop our straight talking theme that bit further on. We're developing more investment products, and we will hopefully come to market with a personal lending product at some stage in the year. So as you can see then, we're starting to broaden our product range from not just being in savings or being in investments, but also being into lending products.
Now you know